going on, guys? Wei from Revolution here. I am so freaking stoked, right? I have on my wrist our latest collaboration with Zenith, and it is a watch that it just, to me at least, is just insanely cool. Okay, before I talk about this watch, I need to talk about the watch that we did with Zenith last year. This is, of course, the homage to the famous A3818, or the CoverGirl, so named because it appeared on the book on Zenith, named Why Zenith is Dope by Manfred Rossler, right? And of course, you guys know that the CoverGirl is kind of one of the most mythical references from vintage Zenith. It is a watch with this beautiful Superman blue dial on it. It's got a very unique track because it's a racing track that's dogtooth, and it has an integration of a pulsometer as well as a tachymeter, which is insanely cool, right? It's also got this famous Gay Frere style ladder bracelet, as it's not made by Gay Frere anymore. It's got the beautiful tonneau-shaped case from the A3818, right, which was one of the original watches Zenith launched in 1969 with the El Primero movement. So, funny story about this watch was this was like the last event I attended before COVID happened, and it was in Miami. So I flew in from Singapore to Miami, and then my friend Julian Tornaro, who's the CEO of Zenith, flew in from Switzerland. So we both show up in Miami, kind of like, you know, a little bit like jet lagged and bleary-eyed, and I'm like, bro, do you have the watch? Let's take a look at it. And he goes, what do you mean, do I have the watch? I thought you had the watch. And only for us to realize actually the watch was back in Switzerland, in Le Loc specifically, sitting on the desk of Roman Marietta, who incidentally, it's totally not his fault. It was probably mine because I didn't communicate that someone needed to bring the watch. But the funny thing is then we had this entire party and this entire presentation of the watch without the actual watch. And then when people started mingling around and having drinks and wanting to look at the watch, like Julian and I just kept saying, oh, I think someone else has it, or I think someone else has it. And anyway, by the end of the evening, the watches were all sold out, right? And I think those watches now are trading at a pretty significant premium as well in the secondary market. So if you got one, congratulations. So the thing that distinguishes this modern watch from the vintage watch was also like a little trick that we wanted to keep for collectors who have the watch, right? And actually all the indicators on here, including the subdials, even including the tachymeter / pulsometer, and including all the dogtooth scale, they're all luminous. So if you take a UV light and shine it on there, you'll see that everything kind of glows in the dark. And that's also an immediate way to see that this is the modern watch as opposed to the vintage watch, right? But other than that, it's a pretty faithful homage to the original A3818. So this year, we wanted to do another homage to that watch. So this is CoverGirl 2, otherwise known as the CoverGirl Airweight. So why do I call it Airweight? It's because the entire case and the entire ladder bracelet of this watch, and actually even the clasp, has been made out of grade 5 titanium. And that is freaking awesome, right? Now, the immediate thing that you realize when you pick up this watch as opposed to the watch that we did last year, it's a hell of a lot lighter, right? And you don't have to take my word for it because Summit has presented us with a scale. So let's just measure them from comparison. So here we go, we're gonna put the steel watch on the scale. And you can see there that's 110.6 grams, right? Okay, now let's put on the CoverGirl Airweight in grade 5 titanium and see how much that weighs. That's 78.3 grams, which is a significant difference from the steel watch. And you know, I can tell you for a fact, when you put it on your wrist, the feeling is amazing because it feels like you're wearing something that is so incredibly comfortable that you forget it's on your wrist, right? Which is really interesting because it's such a substantial looking watch otherwise. What else can I tell you? Well, we decided to do away with the whole kind of like Fotina thing for the indexes, and we kept it just pure white Superluminova. We kept the Superman blue dial, which I feel is even more beautiful this year. I don't know why. I guess my dear friend Roman Marietta has done an incredible job in terms of refining the color, refining the decoration of the dial. It's got that beautiful vertical brushing on it, but it just looks perfectly rendered. Now, the other way you can tell this watch from the steel watch is that immediately when you look at the bracelet, you'll see the center links are polished. And why did we want to polish the center links? Because grade 5 titanium is the only grade of titanium that you can mirror polish. And so we wanted to kind of show that off a little bit. And I think it actually perfectly complements the sort of polished bevels on the watch and the polished pushers. You know, all those small elements that create this kind of beautiful contrast between brushed and polished surfaces. So there you go, A3818. It is now the CoverGirl Airweight in grade 5 titanium. So guys, thank you so much. And yes, I know it's weird for me to say because I was involved in making this watch, but it's fucking awesome.